Happy Thursday. Thursday to appreciate our young ones. So I was going through a moment the other day, a parenting moment. I disciplined my child, and later on that night, like normal, we go over our day, and I ask him, about the lessons learned throughout the day to make sure that they're learned. And he tells me this: Mom, I got so angry when you wanted to kick me out of our family. And I was like, what? When I was kicking you out of our family, what makes you feel that way? So then he tells me, well, when you did this, that, and the other, I felt like you were kicking me out of the family. And I felt so terrified. And I immediately apologized and I told him, I'm sorry, that is not my intention. There is nothing that you can say or ever do that will exclude you from your family, because this is where you belong. This is where we love you and accept you for who you are. And I'm so sorry. And he accepted my apologies, and I better explained that what the behavior that he was doing at the time was not going to be accepted in our home. And I felt so terrible, right? Because as a mom, I don't want to feel like my child feels like I'm kicking out of the family. I'm just trying to teach him that's not going to be tolerated here. Not saying, and he kind of took that as, I don't belong here. And wow, it really impacted me and opened me up to want to ask more strategies on disciplining kids. So here I am about to read you from the 10 healthy discipline strategies that work by healthychildren.org. Great website to have. So their first strategy is show and tell. Teach children right from wrong with calm words and actions. Model the behaviors that we would like to see in our children. What does that look like? That when our children do something, the way we manage our anger is the way they're going to manage their anger. So if we're there telling them, we yell at them, stop doing this, that tells them that that's the way you handle your anger, right? So we want to be able to show and tell how to react, when to take a moment, when to take a break and say, you know what, I just can't right now. I need 5 minutes to myself, and lock yourself in a bathroom, go outside, leave your children in a safe place before you do so. But sometimes all parents can need a break sometimes. Number 2, it says set limits. Have clear and consistent rules your children can follow. Be sure to explain these rules in age-appropriate terms they can understand. I'll better explain that in a different video. Number 3, give consequences calmly and firmly. Explain the consequences if they don't behave. For example, tell her that if she does not pick up her toys, you'll put them away for the rest of the day. I do that a lot. If my child does not pick up his toys, then he will not see them for a couple of days. He's 7 now, so 2 or 3 days is a long time for him, especially with his favorite toys. Then it says, be prepared to follow through right away. That's a big one for me. So now I've decided that if I'm not able to follow through, I'm going to keep my mouth shut. I'm not going to keep on prying and saying, pick this up. I told you to pick that up while I'm busy making dinner or busy doing something. I'm not going to do that anymore, because I've noticed that I'm training him to not listen to me. So that's a wise one right there. It says, don't give in by giving them back after a few minutes. But remember, never take away something your child truly needs, such as a meal. Good one. 4, hear them out. Listening is so important. Let your child finish the story before helping them solve the problem. Watch for times when misbehavior has a pattern. This is a big one. Like if your child is feeling jealous, talk with your child about this rather than just giving consequences. I recently had a new baby, and I realized, thankfully, right, when we consult with people, they helped me realize that he's going through a regression. He's seeing a new baby, and he's wanting the attention that he sees the baby getting. So now I've had to re-ramp my schedule and have me and Eli's time, me and my 7-year-old's time, so that this way he knows that he can trust that he has mommy still. Mommy's still there. We still have slumber parties in his room. He still has his mom. But that's a common one that I wasn't aware of course, because it's just now that I'm going through this situation. Number 5, give them your attention. The most powerful tool for effective discipline is attention, to reinforce good behaviors and discourage others. Remember, all children want their parents' attention. That's another fact. Sometimes we go around our busy lives, right? When we're busy parents and we wake up, we make them breakfast, and we're on our way to work or doing work at home now. We're constantly not giving them attention. We're giving attention to our routines, making sure that the laundry gets done, that this gets cleaned, that this got made, that this got prepared, that these meal elements were bought from the food store. We're constantly making sure that we have everything, but we're forgetting that children could care less. They could probably care more for their mom or dad's attention than a meal. That's how bad it is for them. So that one's a big one. I'm glad that I'm getting around to that one. Number 6 says, catch them being good. This is great. Children need to know when they do something bad and when they do something good. Notice good behavior and point it out, praising success and good tries. And be specific. They even give an example. They said, wow, you did a good job putting away that toy. Thank you. That is very important. Praising is, I'll make another video as to a whole bunch of praising things that we can tell our children too. Number 7, know when not to respond. As long as your child isn't doing something dangerous and gets plenty of attention for good behavior, ignoring bad behavior can be an effective way of stopping it. Ignoring bad behavior can also teach children natural consequences of their actions. For example, if your child keeps dropping her cookies on purpose, she'll soon have no more cookies left to eat. If she throws and breaks her toy, she will not be able to play with it. It will not be long before she learns not to drop her cookies and to play carefully with her toys. That was a big one for me, and even me and my partner go through this a lot because he likes to react at every single storm. Every single thing, he wants to call it a battle. I'm more assertive and he's more authoritative, so it's so funny to see the combination at home. But I honestly am I'm learning from all of this parenting strategies that yes, you have to, just like in relationships, you have to learn how to choose your battles. Well, guess what? With our children too. We can't keep on. Eventually they'll learn, right? If they're throwing away their food on the floor, eventually they won't have any more food and they'll learn by natural consequence. And who's going to clean that up? I hope the child. Be prepared. Number 8, be prepared for trouble. Plan ahead for situations when your child might have trouble behaving. Prepare them for upcoming activities and how you want them to behave. I remember when I was growing up, my mom used to always tell us, all right, girls, we're going to go inside this house. Now, every time you want to use the bathroom, I want you to come and ask me. Or she'll just lay this out. It's so cool how she knew that already. She knew exactly to lay out the plan every time we went into certain people's homes, because there were certain people that she could care less, right? When we went over to my aunt's house, she could care less if we went in and out of the bathroom. But I always remember when we went to this other friends of her house, because I guess they weren't cool like that or whatever, I don't know. My mom just always asked us to always ask her before we go use the bathroom or we go into any bedrooms or if we want to go to the yard, to always ask permission, which was awesome. Number 9, redirect bad behavior. Sometimes children misbehave because they're bored or don't know any better. Find something else for your child to do. I have another boy who's 9, and even this morning, Carlos is like, what can I do now? And then I'm looking at him like, okay, it's listed. It's your time to do your laundry, but in my head, right? But then I then rerouted him, right? I was like, oh, what does your schedule say? And he's like, to do my laundry. And he goes, but I already separated it. And I'm like, okay, so what do you think that can happen next? So it could get washed. It's like, I could put it in the washer. So he started laying out his own little step-by-step plan. And sure enough, he found something to do. But I think that having that agenda, I don't know if you saw that video with quarantine time with kids, but yes, having the children with an agenda has helped them a lot, being able to just, for me, to say, okay, just go back to your agenda. What are you supposed to be doing right now? Because even in like the blackout time, like with no electronics, they have, there's examples, books, reading, coloring, Sudoku, I keep mixing that one up. Number 10, call a timeout. A timeout can be especially useful when specific rule is broken. This discipline tool works best by warning children they will get a timeout if they don't stop, reminding them what they did wrong in as few words. Sometimes we go on with sermons and our kids can't keep up with us. So in as few words, just remind them. If you continue, I don't know, playing with, I don't know, if you continue playing with your food, for example, you're going to get a timeout. You're going to get a 5-minute timeout to your room. One time, few words. Here's another big key, and with as little emotion as possible, and removing them from the situation for a preset length of time. 1 minute per year of age is a good rule of thumb. Oh, look at that. I have to go into 7 minutes now. Usually I do a 5-minute timeout, but now I'll move it up to 7 minutes. With children who are at least 3 years old, you can try letting their children lead their own time out instead of setting a timer. You could just say, go to timeout and come back when you feel ready and in control. This strategy, which can help the child learn and practice self-management skills, also works well for older children and teens. And that's awesome, right? By just giving them a timeout, that's how it's interpreted, that the child is learning how to practice self-management skills. The biggest part of this article is the next part. And it talks about spanking and harsh words are harmful and don't work, and here's why.